What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude, and yes, it did happen. The US government paying just interest alone on its US national debt has become the third biggest expense of the entire US budget of 2024. Previously, whenever I was making videos like this was still the number 4 or even 5 position in this list, right behind the spending on the defense and right behind the Medicare. Well, that's it. In 1 year, the interest expense on the US national debt became the third biggest expense and just continues to climb up without no clear end in sight. As you can see from this graph on your screen, the number 1 expense is the Social Security, equaling approximately to $1.4 trillion. The medicine is approximately $900 billion, and then the third one is interest payments on the US national debt, equals to $882 billion. As you can see, not that far behind the healthcare itself. There is a very huge probability that the interest expense will become the second biggest expenditure of the US budget within the next year or maximum 2, unless something changes. And honestly, what can change? There is once again no clear end in sight of the US national debt becoming smaller. Potentially, yes, the reduce of the interest rates can decrease these payments by some billions of dollars, but this still is not gonna make a huge dent in this entire problem. In order to solve the problem, the debt itself needs to start to be paid down, needs to be reduced. But America does not have that extraordinary amount of money. After all, the debt is approximately $36 trillion. It recently passed this mark. America simply does not have a spare 36 trillion lying somewhere in the pocket of your winter clothes, which you forgot to remove whenever the summer started. These are not the money you can easily come up with. So, long story short, yes, the lower interest rate can help us the interest payments, but if the debt continues to rack up at incredible speed, at this point trillions of dollars extra almost every single year at least, we're talking about, well, inevitably whenever the inflation will go up again, because obviously the economy is very cyclical. At some point the inflation is high, interest rates are low, then at the next cycle it is completely the opposite. Well, long story short, what I mean by that is that whenever it's going to be a next cycle of high inflation and obviously high interest rates to fight against the inflation, this will cause these interest payments to be already definitely number 2 on this list of most expensive things of the US budget, potentially even becoming number 1. This is, by the way, a danger of low interest rates, because the monthly payments or quarterly annual payments for the US national debt might not seem as significant as before. For this reason, the American people and especially its government might think that, okay, the problem is kinda under the control right now. We used to pay almost $900 billion, we pay less, much less right now. So they might continue to increase the debt without thinking about the consequences, well, as they usually do. And then once again, the environment of high interest rates approaches, and then these monthly, quarterly or annual payments, they literally skyrocket. The situation needs to be solved immediately, as soon as possible to say the least, because this becomes increasingly unsustainable. I will not be tired to continue making videos like this. I truly believe that the US debt problem can become the trigger of one of the biggest financial crises. I would say not in the near future, but most likely even within our lifetimes, so this is definitely a cause for concern. Please let me know, guys, down below in the comments whether everything I just said makes sense or not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to my channel, like this video. Thanks so much for watching, see you tomorrow.